Boston police, the mayor, state police, the Suffolk DA updating the shooting that happened this morning outside Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston.
The incident that transpired this morning took place over multiple jurisdictions, involved multiple law enforcement agencies, and included multiple crime scenes. At about 9:21 a.m., officers assigned to District B2 responded to the area of Vining Street and Fenwood Road for the report of a person with a gun. Upon arrival, officers were directed to an adult male suspect. These officers subsequently engaged the suspect. At that time, the suspect pulled out and pointed directly at the responding officers what appeared to be a firearm. At this time, the officers discharged their firearms at the suspect. After discharging their firearms at the suspect physically assaulted one of the officers on the ground. The suspect then got into a motor vehicle and drove up Fenwood Street onto Huntington Avenue. At this time, the police pursued the suspect. The pursuit went into Brookline, involving multiple police jurisdictions. In the area of 1195 Boylston Street, the suspect's vehicle struck multiple vehicles. At that time, he exited his vehicle, and multiple officers gave multiple commands for him to drop a weapon, which he had produced again, what appeared to be a firearm. At this time, after ignoring multiple commands to drop what appeared to be a firearm, multiple officers, including a state trooper, a Massachusetts state trooper, discharged their firearms at the suspect. The suspect was then transported to Beth Israel Hospital, where he subsequently was pronounced. At the same time of the original incident at Vining and Fenwood, the officers were made aware that a approximately 49-year-old employee of Brigham Women's Hospital suffered what appeared to be a gunshot wound. This victim was taken to Brigham Women's Hospital and treated. He is currently now in critical condition due to his injuries. Obviously, this took place at a busy time of day, early in the morning, people going to doctor's appointments and people going to work. Obviously, people were impacted by this. We're asking anybody that was impacted by this incident to call our Boston neighborhood trauma teams at 617-431-0125. We're all asking for the public's help. Anyone that saw anything, up including videos, to contact the Boston Police Department at 617-343-4470 or our tip line, 1-800-434-TIPS. I want to get it out there that this is believed to be an isolated incident. There is no threat to the public as a result of this incident. I also want to mention several Boston police officers were transported to local area hospitals for evaluation and have subsequently been released. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Colonel Mason from the State Police.
Thank you, Chief. So I'd like to speak just to the Massachusetts State Police involvement in today's incident. Massachusetts State Trooper was positioned in such a way as to be able to join the pursuit as it left the area of Brigham and Women's and traveled along Route 9 West into the Brookline area. The trooper joined the pursuit. Following the crash of the suspect vehicle, the trooper was able to join with Boston police officers and engage with the suspect. At that point, the trooper discharged his firearms, and that matter obviously remains under investigation. I can report that the trooper sustained no injury, that he was medically evaluated and cleared. The Norfolk SPDU, or State Police Detective Unit, will be conducting the investigation into the death. They'll be conducting that very closely with Boston Police Department investigators. I anticipate that there will also be significant coordination with both the Norfolk District Attorney's Office and the Suffolk District Attorney's Office. Today is the start of that investigation. It's in a very preliminary stage, and I do not have answers to many of the questions that I anticipate that you will have. I can tell you that there will be significant work that is still being done at the scene in Brookline. I anticipate approximately 2 to 3 more hours for that scene to be processed, for a search warrant to be executed on the suspect's vehicle, and for all the ballistic evidence to be collected. We are asking that if anyone has any video or was an eyewitness to the Brookline scene, that they contact the Norfolk Suffolk SPD State Police Detectives Unit at 781-830-4800, 781-830-4800. And again, for the next 2-3 hours, we'll be working that area in Brookline, and so motorists can expect delays and should probably avoid that area. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dan Mulhern. I'm the First Assistant District Attorney on behalf of Rachel Rollins. With me today is Ed Zabin, the Chief of our Homicide Unit, and Lynn Beelan, the First Assistant District Attorney from Norfolk County. I'd just like to report to all of you that District Attorney Rollins has been in touch with District Attorney Morrissey, and both of them, and on behalf of all of our law enforcement officers and other members in the audience, pray for a speedy recovery for the gentleman that was hurt at the Brigham and Women's Hospital today. Our role, in conjunction with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, is to investigate what took place here in Boston and in Norfolk County over into the neighboring jurisdiction of Brookline. I cannot say enough about the efforts of the Boston Police, the Massachusetts State Police, the Brookline Police Department, and the Newton Police Department in their response, both to the scene in Boston and to the very complicated scene in the Brookline area that many of you are aware of. Lastly, I'm very confident that we will move slowly, work in conjunction with all of the partners here, step by step, to put the pieces of this puzzle together for you all, and we're confident that we'll be able to give you answers as the investigation moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much for covering today. Certainly this is not the way that any of us expected Friday morning to start here in the city. I want to first say that on behalf of the City of Boston and Town of Brookline, our prayers go out to the victim here. Hopefully that he's in one of the best hospitals in the world, Best Surgery Hospital. Brigham Women Hospital, and hopefully he'll be a speedy recovery. I want to commend the work this morning of the Boston Police Department. I spoke to Commissioner Gross as the incident was unfolding, the State Police, District Attorney Rawlings, as this was moving forward through the city of Boston into Brookline. Incredible work, a lot of danger out there, a lot of people put their life on the line. The men and women of our police departments, I want to thank them for all of their work here today. And also, Brigham and Women's Hospital, I had a conversation with the president of the hospital right as this incident happened. I spoke to her several times since then, trying to figure out what was this all about. But it's a very unfortunate incident that happened here. And we're going to work with the DA and the Boston Police Department, State Police, and Brookline to figure out how we move forward here. But I'm just asking everyone to keep this person, the victim, in our thoughts and prayers as we get through the next few hours here in the city. And with that, I'll turn back over to Chief Long so he can take any questions.
Where was the first confrontation between the suspect and someone at the hospital? Why? Can you describe those circumstances again that he described?
What I can tell you right now, obviously, it's a very fluid investigation. We're working on it. We're interviewing a lot of witnesses. All I can tell you is the first confrontation with the police and the suspect took place right at Fenwood and Vining, right at the corner.
Where were your shots?
It's under investigation. We were directed. There was a 911 call for a person with a gun, and when the police officers arrived, they were directed to the suspect.
Where was the victim from, employee from Brigham? Was he at that intersection, or was he further up?
He was actually standing. He was standing near the entrance of Brigham Women's Hospital.
So he was shot up the street.
He suffered his parent gunshot wound right in front of the hospital. Yes.
Was the valet injured during the exchange of gunfire between police and the suspect?
Right now, it's under investigation. Like I said, we are going through a ton of video, a lot of witness interviews. So it's still
So we don't know if he was shot by.
Like I said, it's under investigation right now.
What kind of gun did the suspect have?
It's under investigation right now.
You can't tell if it was a BB gun or for lack of a better term, a real gun?
Like I said, right now, they're still processing the scene right now, multiple scenes, so I just couldn't provide that right now.
Was the car the suspect's own personal vehicle, or did he carjack it?
No, he didn't carjack it. It was his.
Did he have some business at the hospital? Why was he there, the suspect?
Again, it's we're working through that right now. What brought him to that area? I couldn't answer right now why he was there.
You also said that one of the officers was injured. That he injured one of the officers. How did that happen?
What happened is after the discharge, he actually physically assaulted one of the officers. There was a physical confrontation before he then disengaged and then got into his vehicle and drove away.
Was anyone from the hospital security, I saw the hospital security have to see, what was their role?
I believe they were there. You know, obviously they were in the area. You know, they had some sort of interaction, but again, like I said, we're still conducting the interviews right now. Like I said, you know what? I apologize. It really is. It's active. It's fluid. We're working through interviews. So I couldn't answer that right now. All right.